I've tested a lot of custom and pro controllers on this channel over the years, but this one I'm going to show you here today definitely ranks in the top 3. And I gotta say, I think it's one of the best looking as well. I mean, it better be if I designed it, right? So let's take a closer look at this controller and let me back up my words there. And there's so many great things about this controller, and I mean that with no fluff. But at the core, my favorite thing about this controller is it's still an Xbox controller. You got that tried and true shape, the same buttons, the same grip on the bottom. I got the little grip spray on right there, which is definitely pretty nice. We'll talk about that later on. But at the core, in the hands, you feel like you still have an Xbox controller. Say, for example, some of the aftermarket ones. We got the Victrix here. This is the PlayStation one, but the Xbox one's shaped the exact same. Still a great shape, but it's a different feel in your hand, you know what I mean? Even coming over to the Xbox Elite controller, this controller is significantly heavier than a standard Xbox controller, right? So hopefully you catch me there. Like, as far as the shape, yeah, it's still the same, but lifting this aim controller up, it feels, again, you got that same weight of a standard Xbox controller, the one that comes in your box. The Elite over here is significantly heavier. You just feel it over long game sessions. Let me go on and pull out the scale here and actually show you the difference. Let's go on and fire it up. Now, on the back of my Elite, I have 2 paddles. And then on the back of my aim controller, I only have 2 paddles as well. We'll talk about that. But anyway, slapping this, the Elite, on the scale, we're getting 336 grams, and you feel it. Now coming over to the aim controller, we're getting right at, let's say, 300 grams. And yes, that is with batteries in the background. So as far as that weight difference, it is clear as day, and you truly feel the difference. And right along with ergonomics are the placement of the back paddles here. Again, I only run 2 of them, but you do have the replacement ones that you can put up here on the top, which, let me be honest with you, it is not the easiest to change. They give you this little like pin type of deal, and you're supposed to pinch it down in there and then twist at the same time. Like, look, now I got it jimmied in there. Like, that is horrible. I honestly don't like how that's implemented into this. I wish you can just like press it down and twist or something, like a medicine bottle cap or something. They need to redesign this because that is an absolute pain in the neck. So after a few minutes of fighting with this little notch down in there, I was able to actually get it to make it loose, and you can see it just spins off this little cap up top. And I don't know if it'll focus in the camera, but you can see that little lever right down there, probably all chewed up from me pressing on it, but it has that little notch right there which releases the top cap. That is an absolute pain in the neck in aim controllers. Please redesign that. But as far as changing out the paddles, super easy. You can see they just snap in and out of that little bracket in the bottom. And then you have these little drilled out bits, and that's where the buttons are on the side. So if you want to run, again, just these 2 bottom ones or the 2 top ones or all 4, again, the customization is up to you. But as far as the back paddles, they are super comfortable. Again, your hands wrap right around, and you can see your fingers lock right down into them there. Your fingers aren't bulged out. You're not trying to reach in to press the paddles. It's right there. It feels natural, and it flows perfectly with that nice, comfortable shape of an Xbox controller. And that also goes right in line with the thumbsticks. Now, on my thumbsticks, you see I got these little clear covers on them. Those are actually, what are they called? Freaks, control freaks. They're just the little covers over them because, you know, when you're pressing down and running and stuff, I like that little mushy feeling. I don't like them to be incredibly hard. But these are pretty cool because they just snap right in with like tension, unlike we've seen with like Razer or some other controllers where you have to have it lined up a certain way for it to notch in there. But you can see it just goes right into that little hex there. Same over here, no certain way you got to put it. Just bam, line it into the shape, and you're good to go. I absolutely love the simplicity of it, and you can see they're in there super solid. Again, me personally, I just like adding a little control freak little cover. It's not one of the extenders or anything like that. It's just, again, a little thumbstick pad or cover, whatever you call it, and it just makes it feel very, very comfortable in your game. So you got to try these. These are really nice. I have the link down in the description, but all in all, I just love the simplicity of changing out the thumbsticks here. And then, of course, the cosmetic customization, which that's going to be personal preference. Mine is built out completely Techne style. Let me know what you think about it down in the description. But you can have one with the red, just a plain matte buttons over here, the matte little camo up top, and then that little splatter of red grip. And I was kind of worried like this would be annoying and really bother my hand, but you really don't notice it. It just gives you that nice little extra grip. But again, as far as the D-pad, it feels like an Xbox controller. The buttons up here, they feel like an Xbox controller, which might be a turnoff. We'll talk about that in a second. But also right here to your back paddles, they feel just, or your triggers, they feel just like an Xbox controller. And at the core, that's what I really like. But there are some downfalls, as I mentioned, with the buttons here for some use. Like if you're looking into some Pro controllers, you can get the little like clicky mouse click type buttons over here. And you can actually get that on AIM controllers, PlayStation 5 controller over here on your buttons and the D-pad. Unfortunately, on the Xbox controller, you can't yet, which is a real stinker. Same with your back triggers over here. You either can pick from standard triggers or the mouse click triggers. It's one or the other. You don't have the switch to turn them on and off like just about every other Pro controller has. So again, that's another bit of a stinker right there. The other thing, talking about cosmetics with the top plate, and we've seen this with other Xbox Pro controllers where you can just bam, pop off the top, slap a different one if you want, and really just refresh your controller, which is a nice feature to have, especially when you're spending 200 plus bucks on a controller. Just a quick little refresh would be really nice instead of having to buy a whole new controller to customize. I get the reasoning behind it. PlayStation just sells better, right? The consoles and games, it just shows, and then all the turmoil Xbox is in these days. I mean, heck, I canceled my Xbox Game Pass, and that's crazy. I was a user since day one, you know? So I guess I can see, it hurts, but I can see why AIM controllers just left Xbox in the background. It's like, yeah, that's what it honestly feels like. We'll get to the rest of the features later on. And the other downfall I noticed with my controller, I'm not sure if this is across all of them. I did hear Kevin from Gamer Heaven talk about this as well, like the Xbox button here. So you can see I'm just simply pressing it here and it's not turning on. I actually got to like press into the controller pretty hard for it to fire on. And that's a bit of a stinker. Like even to turn it off, like if I'm just pressing it here, it's not doing anything. I got to press it and press into the shell. I get that little haptic and then you can see it turn off. And I'm not sure if you guys can see how far I'm pressing that in there to get it turned off. So that is a bit of a stinker. It's a mild gripe, like we're not sitting here pressing it. So I don't know, I just wish it was kind of standard. The other thing is, as far as customizing a controller, you hold down this button here and then the Xbox button turns red. But it's very faint in the background. Like, can you even see it back there? Just look at that top crack. I'm gonna hold it down again and you'll see it turn off right there. So now it's off. I'm gonna press it again and you can see that little bit of red back there. I wish that light was a whole lot brighter or there's a little dot somewhere so you can actually see it rather than having to hunt for it. But it's super easy to customize. Hold down your back pedal that you want right here. Press your button. It flashes. Bam, and now you're set. Press that, and then your controller is set to the custom programming you want. Super easy to customize. I just wish the Xbox button was implemented a little bit better. Now, right in line with that finicky Xbox button there, I don't know if I could class it as faulty. I'm gonna class it again as finicky, as you just gotta press it a little bit further. It still does what it's supposed to do. But on line with that, or right in line with having an issue with the controller, you do have that lifetime warranty with the controller. I think we should be more classed as a limited lifetime warranty because it doesn't cover the entire controller, but more or less it covers anything customized on a controller. Because as I've been stating through the whole video, it is at the core an Xbox controller, which is what I love about it. So the internals like motherboard and stuff like that, the core pieces of the controller are just a controller. What's going to be covered is like your back paddles, even the paint, or if you get like the PlayStation controller with your micro press buttons right there, those will be covered, or your triggers if you have it. So really cool that, you know, at the core you got your Xbox controller, but anything that's been adjusted on it is going to be covered for lifetime, which is so cool. And talking about the paint being covered, like, does anybody else do that? Now, one thing I'm not too sure about, which I will verify and pin a comment down below to let you guys know if it is covered, but that is as far as the thumbsticks, as far as like stick drift. I know at the core on the site it says 45 days, but if you get into TMR ones, I would kind of think like that's part of any customized piece within it, so it should be part of the lifetime. But again, I'm not sure if the 45 days is for standard thumbsticks and also the TMR ones. I'll verify that for you, because if that's lifetime, that'd be pretty darn sweet. Now, on the performance end of this custom controller, it's kind of weird talking about it because at the core, it's still an Xbox controller, as I've been harping and praising throughout this entire video. That is the number one thing I love about it, is I can pick it up, feel like I'm right at home. I got my customizable features on it, my cosmetics, and then again, the other features, paddles and stuff, which, by the way, I do also have the TMR thumbsticks in this one, which is something new they've implemented here. Now, again, you all know I'm not a primary controller user, even though I use a controller just as much as keyboard and mouse. But as far as heavy use, like FPS gaming, keyboard and mouse for me. Like, I suck at FPS with a controller. I'll overlay some gameplay right here, but it's gonna be embarrassing, right? But seriously, I use a controller every day, whether it be for Xbox, PlayStation, and story games on PC. But even then, as far as stick drift, it's not something I can really notice, right? I've noticed stick drift once in my lifetime of gaming and testing a lot of products, which that's also another thing. I cycle through so many products, but it was with the Nintendo Switch, right? The first one right there that I had this stick drift, which I think all of us did. That might have been just a Joy-Con thing. But again, me cycling through many products, stick drift isn't really something that like kind of draws to my attention or something that really affects me. But it's cool now that you can get TMR thumbsticks here if you want, or you can just get the regular ones. So having the customizable options again to suit your needs is what's really cool. But at the core, the performance, and I say this over and over, I think performance can come second, even with keyboards and mice, right? Like, shape is king. You hear us say that about mice. I think the same thing goes with controllers. It's just like a headset. It's got to be stinking cozy. You're going to take it off. Who cares how good it sounds or the features or function, right? It has to be comfortable. You have to, again, connect with it. And that's what I get with this aim controller, because at the core, it's an Xbox controller. This is no marketing fluff or anything. It's right there for everybody. You can see they got one price, no limits as far as you customize. You get a PlayStation controller, Xbox, and just load it up with every top end custom piece in it. The TMR, the back paddles, whatever, paint, and the grips. And you're gonna get it for $235. Like, that is so cool, right? Like, if you want a custom controller, just load it up with whatever you want and you get it for $235. But everything that this controller is packing for, again, the price and what you can build it out as, it's just a no-brainer for me in the custom pro controller space. Like, this is definitely one of my favorite.